Tonight, water worries.
And then at the 11th hour, we're told that there's no water capacity.
Dripping down to more developers.
The development community needs consistent, clear information. We need a line in the sand.
How the region's shortage concerns.
I do think they're taking it seriously, but I think we need to move at a pace that government is typically uncomfortable with.
Are setting off new conversations now. Last-minute moves to shore up shelter space.
We're going to have a community emergency grant fund envelope.
The scramble to create daytime options in Guelph and deal with disappointment.
One is that this doesn't happen again in the wintertime.
Over a plan that didn't come together. Vape store robberies. A closer look at some costly crimes and the business owners who've become victims. Good evening. We begin with developing news. The president of Conestoga College is stepping down immediately. John Tibbetts, who's been at the helm for decades, made the announcement today, weeks ahead of his planned retirement date, and following a tumultuous year for the college that saw layoffs, cuts, and Tibbetts himself getting grilled by a House of Commons committee over the impact of the international student boom. CTV's Colton Weens joining us live now with more on what Tibbetts is saying today and how some of the unions critical of his leadership are reacting as well. Colton.
Well, Tony, in an email sent to all the school's students and employees today on behalf of the college president, Tibbetts explains that he's done and offers some information on the expected plan. The email reading in part, I informed the Board of Governors that I am retiring as president of Conestoga effective today. I am incredibly proud of how Conestoga has grown, adapted, and remained nimble in meeting those needs while never losing sight of the student experience. Tibbetts says he planned to retire 2 years ago, but deferred it a few times to support continuity during a period of significant change, going on to say Norma MacDonald Ewing will serve as interim president while the board undertakes the search for the next leader. Tibbetts also says as he gets older and following the recent passing of his brother before the holiday and his partner 4 years ago, he feels it's time to spend more time with family. Meanwhile, the Ontario Public Services Employees Union, which represented many of the employees who had recently been laid off at the college, quickly reacted to the news today. OPSU Locals 237 and 238 saying in a joint statement, faculty and support staff are celebrating the start of a new chapter after their relentless public pressure campaign, calling for accountable leadership. Adding issues of transparency have been raised around the Board of Governors, and the unions believe disclosing the college's full financial picture will inspire faith in new leadership. The unions hope to sit down with the interim president to discuss the future of the college in light of recent layoffs and program cuts. Now, the unions also want to know how much Tibbetts' retirement will cost and whether the next president will be earning an over $600,000 salary like Tibbetts did. I'll be speaking with the unions tonight and we'll have their responses at 11:30. The college declined an interview request. However, the chair of the Board of Governors, Martha George, wrote an email to students and employees extending best wishes to Tibbetts, adding the board is confident in the school's future and a comprehensive executive search is now underway. Tony.
Okay, Colton Weens with that developing news out of Conestoga College. Colton, thank you. We'll look forward to more later tonight. And time now for a first check on the weather. Let's head over to Ashley Bacon in studio, live with the latest. I know it's January the 14th, but Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Tony, and welcome back. I hope you enjoyed your time off.
Thank you. I did very much. Very rested. Had some time with family and friends, and boy, experienced almost every kind of weather over that time period, and there's more change coming.
Oh, yeah, and I'm glad you said you're rested, and hopefully our viewers are as well, because they're going to have to get out and shovel a little bit more tomorrow. It is coming. Another winter storm is on its way. Actually, it started already. It is here. We saw in the 5 o'clock show with our tower cam shots all of the snow that was already falling. This is the snow squall fall. warning. So we are looking at all of this highlighted area that might see between 10 and 30 centimeters of snow. Down by the shoreline areas, that's where you'll likely see the higher accumulation. Now that's going to start this afternoon and last through to tomorrow afternoon, accompanying it 50 to 60 kilometer wind hours. So very windy as well. Temperature right now, though, Waterloo Region is -1 with only 17 kilometer an hour winds. So Tony, right now it's a little bit messy, but it will continue to get colder throughout the night. I'll have those details though coming up.
Okay. Ash, thank you. We'll talk to you later. The region of Waterloo's concern about a future water shortage has more builders and business leaders speaking out. The companies building homes and running factories say the uncertainty is scaring off investors. CTV's Jeff Pickle live with the latest on this. Jeff, you've been hearing today from some of the region's largest builders.
Well, Tony, and one of the common complaints about government is that it moves very slowly. There's a lot of thought and consideration and red tape involved in any decision. But these developers say there's no time to waste, and this lingering uncertainty is doing real damage.
They're some of the biggest developers in Waterloo Region, responsible for the cranes and high-rises and homes of all shapes and sizes.
It was a good information exchange, but there's still a lot of questions that
we got a lot of work to do.
On most days, competitors, but with new permits drying up and the region putting a freeze on development over concerns about a water shortage, they're all on the same side.
The development community needs consistent, clear information. We need a line in the sand.
The region says it does not have enough water capacity to support the continued growth in the Mannheim service area, covering Kitchener, Waterloo, parts of Cambridge and some of the townships, and has said it's working to find new sources and solutions.
Pain has already been created by the creation of uncertainty, by putting a freeze just even on the planning process.
These developers say uncertainty is scaring investors and generating questions from banks.
Joseph and I, we both shared a similar experience. So, we had big bank lenders, some of the big ones, call, and usually we're calling them asking for money for projects and land and such. They called saying, so, is this a real thing? Why didn't you know about this? Why didn't you expect it, right?
They say several projects around the region are now in limbo.
We get to a point where we're ready to go, and then at the 11th hour, we're told that there's no water capacity.
The former Krause factory land in North Waterloo that could see 12 towers and over 3,000 units could be in jeopardy.
Damage will be done to our economy if we just take a black or white approach and say that nothing can happen. Whereas there's still some question as to what that capacity actually is.
They're also raising concerns about other big projects like the LRT expansion and the region's new hospital.
You need water for everything, industry, housing, institutions, hospitals, right? So, yeah, we have that land, it's celebrated, it's budgeted, but the water solution is key to all of that.
The developers believe the region is taking the issue seriously.
I think everyone's got a fire lit on a proverbial butt right now.
But are concerned they may not be able to move quickly enough.
I do think they're taking it seriously, but I think we need to move at a pace that government is typically uncomfortable with.
And the developers are hopeful there is a short to medium term fix that will allow some development to continue as the big picture project of permanently increasing the water capacity gets underway. But they stress again the region needs to act fast. Tony.
Okay, Jeff Pickle with the latest on that story for us. Jeff, thank you. A few months after announcing she'd be stepping down as Ontario Liberal leader, Bonnie Crombie made that decision official today. Crombie decided in September to step down after receiving 57% support in a vote by party delegates. She had initially said she would stay on after leading the Liberals back to official party status in last year's election. Crombie said today that she was leaving the top job immediately so that both she and the party can move forward. The Ontario Liberals have said they will choose an interim leader shortly while they plan a leadership race. It's being called a historic moment. A Canadian Prime Minister back on Chinese soil for the first time in more than a decade. Trade, energy, and agriculture all on the table. But what many Canadians are looking for is movement on agricultural tariffs. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver is traveling with the Prime Minister.
It wasn't long ago that Canada called China a disruptive power. Now the language has softened as Prime Minister Mark Carney's government looks to bring stability back to a frigid diplomatic relationship.
This is a new government with a new Prime Minister.
a new foreign policy in this moment of economic stress for our country. It is necessary for us to diversify our trading partners.
And Carney has made it clear that rethinking includes increasing non-U.S. exports through deeper partnerships with countries like China. And over the next few days, the Prime Minister will be pitching Canada to business and government leaders as a place to invest.
I think that this was a really important opportunity to reset the relationship at a time when we're obviously dealing with a much tougher United States and where our Canadian national interests have to be rethought.
A key area of debate and likely disagreement, Canadian tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles and Chinese tariffs on Canadian canola products. Government officials say it's reasonable to expect progress on so-called trade irritants, but the definitive removal of tariffs is unlikely.
Our ultimate goal is to restore market access to China, have more smoother, predictable trade with our #2 export market. And so we're looking for signs of progress and resolution on that front.
While that resolution may not happen, Ottawa is framing this business visit to Beijing as a stepping stone on a larger plan to normalize relationships and help reopen lines of communications. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Beijing.
There is some hope when it comes to adding more daytime services for Guelph's homeless population. A new drop-in space was supposed to open on Monday, but there were construction delays and it wasn't ready. And backup plans for another organization to host some additional drop-in hours in the meantime never materialized. So Guelph's mayor called for an emergency meeting. CTV Spencer Turcotte live with more. Spencer, we should note that meeting was held behind closed doors because of contractual issues, but you have an update for us.
Well, we now have a new opening date set for that daytime drop-in space, and an emergency grant is being split up among different groups to offer those services until the space is ready.
Dozens rallied outside of Guelph City Hall ahead of an emergency meeting yesterday evening. Advocates showed up with a petition and more than 1,200 signatures surrounding a list of requests after a daytime shelter space was supposed to open on Monday, but didn't.
One is that this doesn't happen again in the wintertime, that the plan is set and it's in stone in June, and then come the wintertime, the people at risk, they know what they're doing.
Late last week, word spread that Stepping Stone's daytime drop-in services would not be good to go this week. Construction to expand Stepping Stone's services was delayed, and funding shortfalls put the 7-day-a-week daytime drop-in program for Guelph's homeless population in jeopardy. Royal City Mission was a partner in the plan, and as a backup, both organizations tried to work out a deal where Royal City Mission would host the gap in daytime drop-in hours until construction wrapped later in the year. Instead, the opposite happened. An agreement was never reached, and Royal City Mission had to cut back its hours.
Saturday, we had people showing up, and they had no idea the mission was closed. And it was tears because they came to eat, and they were turned away.
It created a perfect storm because it means there are only daytime drop-in services for half of the week, the days Royal City Mission operates. Stepping Stone space was supposed to fix that. So with everything falling through, Mayor Cam Guthrie called that emergency meeting to find some sort of resolution.
We're going to be entering into a contract with Stepping Stone, which is a service provider in this area. That is going to be getting a contract to start around March the 1st.
And until that opening date for the drop-in space,
we're going to have a community emergency grant fund envelope of $120,000 available for agencies and service delivery people.
The hope being that $120,000 can be split up among existing entities to fill the gaps in daytime services until the more permanent solution is ready in March.
And then as of March the 1st, we're going to have that continuity moving forward for at least 2 years. That the contract will be with Stepping Stone to provide the daytime space that we were looking for.
By 2028, the city hopes the County of Wellington will have developed a longer-term health and housing plan for those experiencing homelessness in the area.
And the situation is quite fluid, so there are some things up in the air, including what the application requirements are for that emergency funding and what Royal City Mission's involvement will be in daytime services come March when Stepping Stone, steps in. Tony.
Okay, certainly something we'll keep an eye on in the coming weeks. Spencer, thank you. CTV Spencer Turcotte reporting. Well, a very unexpected sight along a highway in Kitchener today. A wall of water cascading down onto the highway below. What drivers saw and what we are hearing about the source of all this.
Well, snow has started and temperatures have begun to drop. Just how cold will it get and for how long? I'll have those details coming up with your full weather forecast a little later in the show.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We go to a dramatic scene unfolding.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. ctvkitchener.ca, your home for news.
An unusual sight along a busy highway in Kitchener this afternoon. A wall of water gushing over onto a highway in a construction zone right where the recently demolished Frederick Street Bridge once stood. Now, Kitchener Utilities was reporting online that there was a water main break at 460 Frederick Street. A driver says this video was taken at around noon, showing water rushing onto Highway 85 below, describing the scene as shocking and saying people had to slow down to go around it. Kitchener Utilities said there were going to be road closures in the area during the water main repair. Again, that's Frederick, near the expressway, near the old bridge site, and that it could take up to 8 hours for that work. We've reached out to the Ministry of Transportation, which is responsible for the highway reconstruction in the area, but we didn't receive a reply. An update now on a story we brought you last night. Waterloo Regional Police say another person is facing charges in an incident at a home on Lena Crescent in Cambridge back in November 2024. 2 people were shot in an altercation at the home. 1 died, the other was left with serious injuries. Nearly a year later, a man was charged with second-degree murder and attempted murder. But the charges have since been withdrawn, with the Crown saying there was not enough evidence to prove the man wasn't acting in self-defense. Regional police have now revealed back in October, another person was arrested in connection with the case. A 32-year-old man from North Dumfries is facing charges of being unlawfully in a dwelling, assault with a weapon, disguise with intent, and possession of a controlled substance. Those charges remain before the courts. Vape store owners are speaking out tonight about the toll that recent break-and-enters have had on them. Yesterday, Waterloo Regional Police announced they have arrested 3 men from Brampton in a series of thefts throughout southwestern Ontario. Those impacted by break-ins say they are still picking up the pieces. CTV's Krista Simpson reports.
Security cameras captured 2 people parking a truck outside Bob's Vape shop in Kitchener's Dune neighborhood, shattering the glass on the door, then using a chain attached to the vehicle to yank off the metal bars. The thieves crawl into the store and start clearing out products, shoving them into recycling bins. They were in and out in about 5 minutes, says store owner Bob Gill.
They took easily over 50 to 60K. As much as they could grab at once, they tried to take.
Gill says police arrived minutes after the thieves fled. The break-in happened in the early morning hours of Monday, January 5th. The same day, Waterloo Regional Police say they arrested 2 men from Brampton in connection with numerous similar vape store thefts. A 3rd man was taken into custody a few days later. Police releasing video from the investigation saying the 3 men are believed to be involved in more than 15 incidents that happened in numerous southwestern Ontario communities, all between October and January, including the theft at Bob's Vape shop. Gill says in the 3 years his store has been open, he's dealt with a few thefts by young people, but nothing this expensive.
We've been closed for a whole week. This week I took out a line of credit to try to get some merchandise back in. I don't have much money at the moment, but yeah, I'm just waiting for insurance, so hopefully hear back from them soon and I can restock.
Gill says he's already spent thousands of dollars in security measures for the store, but after this break-in, he's looking to see if anything else can be added.
I'm now looking to get into one of those shutters like they have in England, that they close the front of the store. So I'm hoping maybe that will deter them, or at least make them a little bit longer so the police can show up in that time.
They broke into the front door, they had garbage bags and everything that they were ready with.
Jazz Samra owns a few vape shops. One in Etobicoke had a similar break-in back in December. In less than a minute, he lost about $25,000 in merchandise. He's now putting small GPS trackers in some high-value products.
It creates a huge deterrent for thieves. If they publicly, it's out there that they know that there's trackers in these things. I'm actually going to put some signs in my store saying that, hey, for security reasons, products have GPS trackers in them as well.
Hoping that will not only stop thieves, but also the people who are enabling them by purchasing stolen products.
From the emotional side, it kind of hurts to see that you work so hard to build a business, and then there's people out there that would want to do something like this and just rob you of it.
Gil, too, says the break-in at his store has taken a toll.
Anytime my phone rings in the middle of the night or I hear any noise at nighttime, I'm thinking we're getting robbed. So I'm always on edge.
The accused in the southwestern Ontario break-ins, 3 men from Brampton in their 30s, face numerous charges, and police say more are likely coming. Krista Simpson, CTV News, Kitchener.
Ontario's new rules for carbon monoxide detectors are now in effect, and it seems there's been a rush on buying the devices that warn about what's often called the silent killer. CTV's Hannah Schmidt live now with more. Hannah, you've been with firefighters and retailers today, taking a closer look.
Yeah, that's right, Tony. The Fire Marshal's Public Safety Council says people are actively looking for the detectors, especially dual-purpose ones. Local retailers also noticing that, with customers asking more questions and taking a closer look at safety products for their homes.
So with carbon monoxide is a silent killer. That's what they call it.
Carbon monoxide doesn't give you a warning sign. No smell, no color, no taste. That's why fire officials say early detection matters. And Ontario's new rules for detectors are now in place.
The Ontario Fire Code has implemented on every story carbon monoxide alarms are required to be installed.
The Fire Marshal's Public Safety Council says there's been a surge in interest, especially in combination smoke and carbon monoxide alarms.
We've seen it is a lot of panic. People have run out. They're trying to buy new alarms. They don't really understand what they need to do or why they need to do it. If you're asking questions on carbon monoxide, just get a combination alarm. It's a smoke and CO alarm. It'll protect you.
Some of the things we always look at is we want to make sure that it's either CSA certified, ULC listed, or as well as Intertech. Those are the ones that we commonly look for.
At this home hardware store in Kitchener, they've also noticed the surge.
Just trying to make sure that we have products coming in weekly so that we can keep the shelves full, because there's been a huge demand.
With customers spending more time in the safety aisle, checking out options and asking questions.
This is the basic one here. This is the plug-in, so that's our best seller. And most people are just trying to do their due diligence and get another one, so that they have the proper amount in their house.
If you already have a hardwired carbon monoxide alarm, it's required that you don't reduce the level of protection and that you keep it at hardwired interconnected.
Beyond retail shelves, some homeowners could also benefit from an ongoing safety initiative. The Fire Marshal's Public Safety Council and Enbridge Gas are installing hybrid smoke and carbon monoxide monitors in select Ontario homes, free of charge, as part of a prevention-focused pilot project.
In 2025, Enbridge Gas donated 14,220 free combination carbon monoxide and smoke detectors to 75 fire departments across the province, and then were further allocated by the fire departments as they saw fit.
A step towards keeping more homes across Ontario safe.
Now, a couple of reminders. Fire officials say alarms should be tested monthly, and fuel-burning applicants should be serviced regularly. They also say homeowners should make sure they're familiar with installation rules, and that renters should speak with their landlords. Tony.
Some important reminders. Okay, Hannah, thank you. CTV's Hannah Schmidt reporting live. Let's take a live look outside now at King Street in uptown Waterloo. Kind of a bit of a misty look to the evening tonight, and getting colder out there as well. Ashley's back in just a couple of moments to tell us about the next change we're expecting in the weather this week. But next, charges dropped over the killing of an animal. What led to a sudden turn in a case that had a Toronto neighborhood horrified? All right, we are back with a look at the forecast together for the first time in 2026, aren't we? Or were you here?
Were you here on the 2nd?
I was. Were you?
I was also here on the 2nd.
Neither of us just remembers that for some reason.
Wasn't that a whole year ago, it feels like?
Well, the Christmas decorations were still on the set.
True.
That was the very last day. So now it feels like we've turned the page. We are here.
We are in 2026 now.
Talking about shoveling, I want to tell you, before I left to come back, I did a good deed for my mom. I cleared all the snow. I got up on a ladder, I cleared all the snow off the top of her gazebo and the sheds in the backyard because it was piling up.
Good. I mean, as you should, as a son.
Well, thank you.
As a child of someone.
Was not supposed to be a subtle brag. I was just,
that's a lovely gesture.
A lot of people are familiar with having to clear those rooftops off
and there
lately.
has been just so much snow this year, and we had a little bit of a break while you were on holiday, but we're in for it again. If we take a look outside, Tony, you can see it's already starting. So it looks like we're in a little bit of a break there, and that is how flurries work. It's not going to be consistent snow all night long, but it will come and go. We're looking between 5 and 10 centimeters in Waterloo Region, and then regions surrounding us could see up to 30 centimeters of snow. Dave Pettit bringing us this shot from uptown Waterloo tonight. It looks chilly out there, and guess what? It's about to get a lot more cold. Okay, let's take a look at some alerts that we have going on this evening. Environment Canada issuing a snow squall and fall warning. So depending on where you are around the shoreline areas, you may see more snow squalls. That could see upwards of 30 centimeters in some localized areas. You might even see more, and that's because blowing snow will create drifts and obviously messy conditions there. The wind around 50 to 60 kilometers an hour. This system is expected to continue until tomorrow afternoon. So we're not quite out of the woods this evening. It's going to last around 12 hours or so. Looking at the system in our future cast here, as you get into the darker bands of purple, that means heavier snowfall. When we get into around 2 a.m. tonight, that's when we're going to start to see that really heavier snowfall in our region here in Waterloo. In Kitchener, rather, and we'll also get a little bit of precipitation coverage tomorrow. So tomorrow we're looking at around another 5 centimeters. So in total, to about 20 centimeters is a guesstimate for this particular system that's moving through. Temperature-wise now, I hope you've enjoyed it because it's about to get cold. Right now in Vancouver, 9 degrees, 16 in Calgary, 2 in Edmonton and Regina, minus 15 in Winnipeg. On the East Coast, minus 10 in St. John's, 6 in Halifax, and 4 in Montreal. Now closer to home here in Kitchener-Waterloo, we're now at minus 4, so temperatures are now starting to get colder and colder, with the wind chill feeling closer to minus 11. So that's going to continue to drop overnight with a low of minus 14, feeling closer to minus 24. Tomorrow, temperatures aren't going to rise too high, minus 11 as a daytime high, but feeling closer to that minus 21 mark in the morning. And as I mentioned, a little bit more snow activity. Looking at our 7-day forecast, that snow is going to continue through the weekend, but the good news is by Friday, temperatures will bounce back slightly, with a daytime high of minus 2 for Friday and Saturday. In Lambton, Kent, Essex, similar conditions there. Overnight lows of minus 8 on Thursday, bouncing back to 0 for Friday with snow. And then lastly, in southern Georgian Bay, this is where you're going to see a little bit more of that heavier snowfall from this system. You're looking at another 5 centimeters tomorrow with a daytime high of just minus 11. Snow continuing into your Friday and into your weekend, Tony. So it is going to be a long-lasting system, but it's not going to have a lot of accumulation after this initial drop this far. Okay, let's take a look at our Weather Watcher photo for tonight. And then Dennis sending this picture of a woodpecker having a nice little snack in Hanover. And I just thought, you got to bring a little touch of spring on these really cold days. And I feel having bird is the way to do it.
And I know there's a name for those seed bell things. I can't remember it right now.
I'm not sure.
Mom got one for the front yard while I was back at home. And the squirrels and the birds were both out trying to get their beaks and claws and whatever they could.
Whatever they can get into it.
On that food.
Nice.
Yeah, you're right. We need a little bit of spring in the middle of winter.
Spring.
You got it. Thanks, Ash.
Thank you.
Residents of a Toronto neighborhood are crestfallen tonight after charges were dropped against a teenager who was accused of harming neighborhood raccoons and killing a cat. A scathing judgment says the police lost track of evidence and placed no priority on the case. CTV's John Woodward reports.
This is the shed that they found her underneath.
This is the place that Sarah Downing's worst fears were realized. Her cat Mildred, missing for days, was dead.
She didn't die from natural causes.
The cat found as other neighbors in the Bain Housing Co-op in Toronto's East End were making gruesome discoveries. Several raccoons dead, in one case seen near a 16-year-old boy.
We were kind of on high alert because, animal abuse was not something that we had witnessed here before.
The neighbors organized, collected video, including that of a boy and what they believe was a raccoon carcass, and handed it to the police. A young person was charged, and the neighborhood hoped it was over.
It was really nice to speak with some police officers and have them assure us that they were taking it really seriously and that this would be handled, because it felt like there was a threat right outside our front doors.
Fast forward to this week when the case was tossed at the Ontario Court of Justice because of delays. The judge saying it was inexcusable for Toronto police to take 11 months to admit some promised evidence didn't even exist, saying the case wasn't complex, it was just plagued by disorganization, a lack of resources, oversight, and indifference to the disclosure process. Disclosure failures are a common reason cases are tossed, but when we asked through a Freedom of Information request whether this is tracked internally, police said they couldn't provide a number, saying the nature of disclosure requirements is fluid. The lawyer for the boy, who can't be identified, told us this case collapsed under the weight of investigative error. The family telling CTV News they've left the area, saying our lives have been irrevocably altered.
I felt so sad for him and his family that he's clearly not well.
The neighbors still have their evidence, angry at how it all turned out.
Do your job better. You've got so much money coming your way right now. If you know there are structural deficiencies, damn it, fix it.
Sarah Downing told the body of the cat had to be held until the trial. She's hoping to get it back to cremate it. She's worried that the police haven't confirmed yet that it's coming. John Woodward, CTV News.
Well, artificial intelligence is everywhere these days, and Canada's minister responsible for the file was at the University of Waterloo today talking with students about what that means for their opportunities. That's coming up next. Canada's Minister for Artificial Intelligence and Digital Innovation had a message for students at the University of Waterloo today. CTV's Karis Mapp now on the appearance that underscores the local role in building a growing workforce in this country.
It's a problem near and dear in my heart that I want Canada to thrive.
Chloe Nguyen is one of the dozens of students Canada's Artificial Intelligence Minister spoke with at the University of Waterloo Wednesday afternoon. Evan Solomon's conversation surrounded growing and retaining AI talents in Canada.
I'm asking you to say yes to this country.
After graduating, people are faced with the tough decision of where to begin their career. Historically, many head south of the border.
Of course, the States is a hotspot for AI, so many of our students end up there. But we have a large community and a growing community in Canada as well.
What I'm seeing is a worrying pattern where all of my handful of friends who are raising Series A or pre-seed or just going down the route of entrepreneurship are all leaving to the States.
And it's not only people in STEM feeling the pressure to head elsewhere.
I wanted to do my postgrad in the UK, and I was going to do it in strategizing marketing or just something in the communicative design sector. And it was more so just to reinforce my skills.
But Minister Solomon is trying to make a change.
We don't want to be the farm team for the rest of the world.
I did work 2 U.S. co-ops, so I did notice a big disparity in terms of pay and what I was able to get for offers, the ability to take less student loans into the following term. So it was something I was looking at, but I also wanted to have a significant part of something.
Others aren't as convinced.
Waiting 6 months for a grant to come in from the government or investors who are much more risk averse here in Canada, or going to the States and getting the same amount of money, if not more money, in a shorter period of time.
Though she says she's holding out hope for the future.
I'd like Canada to move in that direction where they can support these founders in that way.
There's so many incentives to go elsewhere, as he discussed, but it's just more so reinforcing that sense of belonging in Canada and making people believe that they have, something to contribute to.
Karis Mapp, CTV News, Waterloo.
The minister also stopped by an electronics manufacturer in Waterloo this morning, announcing federal money to help them expand their work. Volterra, which makes circuit boards for a variety of electronics, says its products are in demand. The minister announced almost $2 million in federal money from a fund meant to help Southern Ontario businesses.
We need to support the 4 key things you need: compute and customers and capital and talent.
We have 2 products out in the market, and we're going to be developing a 3rd product. It's expensive to get products out, and ultimately this funding seals the deal for us, and it allows us to focus on building the product.
A similar amount was also announced for Blake Medical Group out of Hamilton, which will expand its operations into Brantford. Time for our top stories. Alexandra Hollick in studio with us. With that developing news, a sudden departure following a tumultuous year at Conestoga College.
That's right, Tony. After 40 years at the helm of the college, President John Tibbetts is stepping down weeks ahead of his planned retirement date. The news came in an email from Tibbetts to staff and students earlier today, with Tibbetts saying he plans to spend more time with family. Reaction to his retirement is pouring in, with faculty and support staff, quote, celebrating the start of a new chapter at the college. An interim president will fill the position while the board searches for a new leader. A Kitchener vape store owner says he's still trying to get back on his feet after a major break-in last week. Bob Gill of Bob's Vape Shop shared this security video of the incident, estimating the thieves stole $50,000 to $60,000 worth of merchandise. Waterloo Regional Police have since arrested 3 men from Brampton in connection to the theft, along with more than a dozen others across southwestern Ontario between October and January.
And from our website tonight, Alexandra, more on a repair scam in Brant County.
And it came with quite the costly consequence, Tony, a $5,000 loss. One homeowner in Burford says a person posing as a door-to-door salesman offered to repair his chimney. So the man handed over the money, but the work never got done. The so-called representative was described as a white man around 35 years old and 6 feet tall. Brant County OPP are looking for anyone with information, video footage, or a picture of the man's license plate. For more on this story, head to our CTV News app or check it out on our website, ctvnewskitchener.ca. Tony.
Alexandra Hollick in studio. Thank you for that. Well, amid the tensions during this trade war, some Canadian snowbirds are reevaluating their winter getaways. Let's go to CTV's Scott Hurst now for more on that.
We have seen a noticeable drop for much of the year in the number of Canadian travelers looking to head south of the border, but the decline in snowbirds may not be as pronounced. A recent survey by Snowbird Advisor focusing on Canadians looking to escape the cold, mostly retirees, shows a roughly 15% drop in respondents saying they're making other plans, and some are choosing other destinations such as Mexico or Spain. But the majority of respondents to the survey say they're still planning to spend their winter in the United States.
Bottom line is, if you own a house, you are not going to go to Mexico with a house sitting in Florida or Palm Springs or something like that. Crowds are down. The amount of people attending events and things like that are 100% down, no question about it. But as far as the snowbird side of things, I'm seeing very little downturn at this point at all.
For the snowbirds who are staying home or going elsewhere, some of the reasons have to do with the current political climate, threats made to our sovereignty by the Trump administration, and uncertainty over new requirements for Canadians at the Canada-U.S. border. Also, many are pointing to the weak Canadian dollar as a reason not to go to the United States. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
Later, enjoying one of winter's wonders for the first time. Leanne Evans will tell us about a tubing excursion that meant so much more for all involved. As we first showed you in part 1 of our series on medical tourism, sepsis resulting from a mommy makeover in Costa Rica almost killed Nicole Grigorov. Now, as she learns to live without the use of fingers or toes, she and the medical community want to make sure that others are fully informed. CTV's health reporter Pauline Chan has more.
Has been
Nicole Grigorov's medical tourism trip resulted in more than a tummy tuck and breast lift. Sepsis led to the amputation of her fingers and toes.
To be honest, Pauline, when I saw my fingers and my toes for the first time in Costa Rica, I knew, I wasn't going to be able to keep them. They were black.
Doctors Ron Samoji and Corey Goldberg say they're treating a growing number of overseas procedures gone wrong.
If not every week, it's every other week that I see a patient that's gone out of Canada for their cosmetic surgery and has come back with some kind of problem.
As the market for surgery abroad has increased, the number of complications that we're seeing regularly has increased as well.
And while they don't often see the kind of life-threatening complications that Nicole Grigorov suffered, many of the problems can be permanent.
They had given her what I would argue is a male hairline and a very low one at that. And she was in tears and asked, please, can you reverse this? Once that's done, you can't.
It's self-serving to say patients should come and have surgery with a Canadian plastic surgeon. But the reality is, to us, there's absolutely nothing more important than the patient's safety.
Dr. Samoji says overseas clinics may accept patients who otherwise might not be approved for surgery here due to weight or other health concerns. Other countries also have different products and standards for things such as implants or even sutures.
With cosmetic surgery, good cosmetic surgery, the pillar of care is really the follow-up. And that's what we sort of stress to patients is if they're going out of country, by the time they come back to Canada, they don't have their surgeon there anymore.
Follow-up care for cosmetic surgery can take months as the body heals and settles, but medical tourists won't be abroad for that time, so it falls on the Canadian health system to fix any problems that result.
So for my recent patient that was admitted to hospital for 5 days, CT scans, drainage procedures, a drain being placed, multiple days in hospital. These are thousands of dollars of OHIP funds, and it's a huge burden, huge burden.
In the final part of our series, we'll look at some of the legal issues surrounding cosmetic surgery abroad and why so many Canadians are still choosing to go despite the warnings. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
All right, time now for a quick break. First, let's check in with Ashley.
Well, falling snow and temperatures expected overnight. I'll have more on what we can expect to wake up to coming up. Lots to watch tonight, starting at 7 o'clock with E-Talk, then shifting gears at 7:30. Masked Singer, and then a brand new series, Fear Factor, House of Fear at 9, and round off the night with Shark Tank at 10.
All right, we are going to rejoin Alexandra Hollick now for a look at what's coming up on CTV News at 11:30. Alexandra.
Tony, will be taking a closer look at today's retirement announcement from Conestoga College President John Tibbets and the tumultuous year leading up to his sudden departure. We'll also hear from the leaders of two unions that were critical of Tibbets' decades-long tenure. CTV's Colton Weeds will have that reaction, and we'll have more news later tonight at 11:30. Tony.
Alexandra, thank you for that. And Ashley's here with Wake Up Weather. It's interesting that we have both snow squall and snowfall warnings.
Yes.
We've got the typical lake effect, but then we have a storm system moving through.
You've got it. So
double trouble.
Double trouble indeed. Now, if you're a little bit away from those lakeshore areas, you're not going to see as much snow. So between 10 and 30 centimeters, depending on where you are. So we're definitely going to wake up to it. If you've got a drive tomorrow, you want to give yourself some more time. Let's take a look. -12 to start our day off. Feeling closer, though, to -21. So if you're headed out tomorrow to school, to work, or just out to be out, you want to bundle up and get ready for it.
Oh, yes. With numbers like that. Well, finally for us, some wintertime fun.
Yes.
Waterloo Regional Police. Some of the officers were trading patrols for snow pants today as dozens of new Canadians got their first taste of winter and the outdoor activities it has to offer.
And as CTV's Leanne Evans tells us, the fun event at Chicopee Tube Park was also a chance to build connection and trust.
Creating connection at Kitchener's Chicopee Tube Park.
I'm
having a lot of fun, with all my friends and family.
Waterloo Regional Police partnering with refugee resettlement agency Reception House, giving over 40 new Canadians the chance to experience a classic Canadian winter.
We get a lot of fun and enjoyment, building stronger connections, especially with young kids, where they're coming from places in the world where policing is not the same as in Canada.
We want to introduce newcomers to Canada and say you can go outside in the snow and you can play and have fun.
For many, it's their first taste of tubing and first real winter thrill.
For many of our clients, it's the first time they've encountered snow. A lot of the kids this morning were up at like 7 a.m. and then they had their snow suits on at 11 and we weren't leaving till 1, so they were ready.
These kids have only been in Canada for less than 2 months. Born in Bangladesh refugee camps, many fled Myanmar, where they were persecuted for their religion.
Many refugees, when they come to Canada, they've had bad encounters with police in their own country, so having a positive, fun experience is really good for them.
This is the second year for the event.
We've learned a lot through this experience. We know that even some of the anxiety of tubing or tobogganing for the first time is overcome pretty quickly.
It's clear you can see it through the smiles and laughter. There were no fines or tickets being handed out here, just friendships forming.
We know that when people are in times of need and times of emergency, we want them to trust us and to know that we're here to help as community partners.
And when it comes to teaming up with the police, we just want people to have a positive association with the Waterloo Region Police.
A reminder, sometimes building trust just starts with a little downhill momentum. Leanne Evans, CTV News, Kitchener.
And a good day for it, too, because before
for
it gets a lot colder tomorrow.
Yes, you could not have picked a better day for it, because absolutely, Tony, tomorrow might have been a little too cold for a first taste of winter.
Yeah, great
tubing.
story from Leanne there. Thank you for that. Okay, and before we go, I have some news to share with our audience.
Yeah.
As many of you know, of course, Alexandra Pinto, who recently became a mom, is taking some time off for a little while, and Ashley is going to be joining us on weather duties right here at the desk every night at 6.
It's so exciting. I'm so grateful for the opportunity and to, change up my workflow a little bit and do something new and fun and exciting. So happy to be a part of the show, Tony, and of course with Leanne at 5:30 or 5 o'clock rather. And it's a great new opportunity. So
we love having you here every night.
Awesome.
Alexandra is in at 11:30. Have a